Let's make some 20th century travel bags. Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin, and here on this channel we copy originals and I teach you old-fashioned sewing skills. So we are working on some travel bags today because I'm tired of not having period appropriate containers for my clothes for the 20th century like I do in the 19th century. So this is a pattern I got on Etsy that I believe is 1900 something. It's 1900 something. I'll put the date on the bottom once I actually have my computer to look at it. And there's lots of different pieces to this. And let me pull out the directions, preferably not the French ones because I don't speak French. So there's like a really long round bag that looks a lot like a linen traveling bag from the mid-19th century. So we're going to make that. There's also a backpack, which I figure we should probably make that as well. That's that. There's a toiletry bag, which I think will be super helpful. And there's two other smaller bags. There's one for collars and then one that's called a cuffed envelope. But I don't think I really put anything in there, so I think we're not going to make the two smaller ones. We'll just make the three bigger ones. First thing I have to put together a pattern. I have here blue linen. Linen's a really strong fiber, so you see it mentioned in things like this. A lot of times these bags are actually brown because it doesn't show dirt, which makes sense. But I'm saving my brown linen for a project and I refuse to use it. And this, I have two shades of blue linen that I have not used in years, so we're going to use this. And then I have some black cotton twill tape to do edges on. I think it actually calls for Byzantine cloth, which I looked up and I couldn't find a reference for. But it also just could be a French term for something else. So it's probably like a polished cotton type situation, which this is a polished linen. Like there's definitely a sheen to it. I don't think it's actually polished, but it has that sheen to it. It's a strong fiber, so it's going to last a long time, which I think will be appropriate for this project. There's also embroidery on here, which I think I might just do in a chain stitch, make it super simple, do some like contrasting, maybe like in a yellow or something, make it kind of pretty. And then of course we'll have the black as well. Maybe you'll do the embroidery in yellow and black, or maybe green and yellow. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. But I have a pattern to put together and then we'll go ahead and get to cutting. Alright, so I have pieces cut out. What I'm doing now is using tracing paper to trace out all the embroidery patterns and random lines of where pockets go, all that fun stuff. And then like the embroidery pattern. Same thing. Do it with a pen instead of the little tracing wheel. It's hard to get this thing to go around curves, which is what most of this is. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but there's markings there. I think the next logical step is to do all the embroidery before I start putting this thing together. Alright, we are starting the embroidery and it's actually looking really good. I'm happy with it. I really didn't know what I was going to be doing. Like obviously there was the pattern on the original pattern, or you know, the design was on the pattern. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll do that, but I really wasn't sure what colors I was going to do. I wasn't sure if I was going to do all one color, if I was going to do, yeah, I didn't know any of that. I knew I was going to do a chain stitch because I've seen that before on this type of design and it's an easy stitch to do. And I had no decent colors in my whole repertoire of embroidery floss. So I went to the store and I picked out a bunch of embroidery flosses to kind of, you know, build up the stash a little bit because I used to have tons and tons and tons. And I guess I just have run out. And so I picked out a couple greens and I picked out the corals and some creams and blues and all sorts of things. I said I didn't want blue on this project because of course the ground is blue. And then I decided, you know what looks really good? That corally pink with cream and green. And I think it's actually stunning. It sets off the blue so nicely. Alright, we're going to start with the backpack because I have all the pieces embroidered for that and I don't have for the big bag. But what I have here is the pocket. We're going to start there. I also cut some lining fabric. I had some pink fabric that I know it says to line an oilcloth. Oilcloth is hard to get in natural fibers now, so I'm opting for whatever I had in the stash. Tuck here, a pleat, and on the other side, we're going to bind this top edge. I thought about binding in leather, which I think would look really nice. But I decided with using the antique machine, it was going to be easier to do this. So I'm going to put this on here. We'll come back and then put this onto the backpack. All right, pocket goes on. And on the back, I'm going to take both threads and I'm going to tie knots just to hopefully keep that in place a little bit. With any applied pocket or patch pocket like this, you run the risk of, with it being open and closed, you just cut it off. The stitching would come out a little bit. Now we are also going to put the top part on, which I have lined and bound. The binding isn't very pretty, but it functions. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to sew up the sides. I'm also doing the same for the lining. And normally I'd also want to put like the not ties, buckles and all of that are going to be on the pockets first before I do this. But I kind of need these bags done, and did I remember that I needed that sort of thing and, you know, get it? No. Do I live anywhere near a place that sells that sort of thing? No. So we're going to do snaps, which at the very least is a period technique, maybe not for 1904, but I'm making these for 19 teens and 1920s. And I know snaps are a thing then because I have seen them on multiple items of that time period. So we're going to modify it slightly. Instead of doing the buckles, we're going to do snaps. And then later on, I can add the leather and the buckles if I choose to. Alright, lining is getting sewn into the backpack. I want to say lid, but that's not the right word. But the flap that goes over the top to hold everything together and keep everything in. What's going on? I forgot to line it, so it is what it is. Alright, I put on the grommets, which look really bad because apparently I don't have the right grommet with the right setting tool, so I had to use a too big setting tool. So they're really wonky looking, but I figure no one's going to be looking at that. And they're holding, so that's the important part. Right now I'm putting snaps on all of the flaps, so the top flap and then both pocket flaps. And then all we have to do is put in the shoulder straps, and then we are done with the backpack. And I think we'll work on the toiletry bag next. Might do some light embroidery on some of those pockets because the pattern didn't call for it, but I think it would look good. But I have to look at it first to see exactly what I want to do. And then we'll do the big bag last. Mostly because I'm about 3/4 the way done with that embroidery and not completely done. This is one of those projects where I had a pattern to start with, but I didn't really have any vision on how it was going to turn out. I just looked up there, saw I had a lot of blue linen. Blue linen is really strong, or linen is strong. And I had used this for all my other colors. Wanted to see what lining fabrics I already had. And somehow it's coming together and looks really nice. And the straps, I'm just going to use the twill tape for right now until I decide what kind of leather I want and how to do that. And I'm doing, you know, straight across the top. making an X basically. So diagonal. Across the bottom. And then diagonal to match the top. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do the round bag, what I've been calling the round bag, because this is the very last step of the embroidery. Alright, for the main bag, I've cut a lining, so I'm putting in the pockets. These pockets were not embroidered. I thought about doing it, decided I don't want to do all that work. Also, I don't think we're going to get the third little toiletry bag done for this video for two reasons. One, I'm not going to any World War II overnight things for at least 6 months, so I don't need it. Secondly, I haven't figured out the embroidery of that yet, and this video's supposed to go out tomorrow, so I'd rather just get this done, do the two bags that I know I will use for now, and then we can revisit the other one at a later date. Also, I'm not sure if the front and the back is supposed to have a pocket. The directions didn't really say. I figured I'd rather have more pockets than not enough pockets. And although the pattern didn't show it, I did do a little bit of embroidery. On the, I keep calling them lids, flaps of this particular bag. It's the exact same embroidery that we did on the flaps of the other bag, so it matches better. Gives a little bit more detail without a whole lot of work. This bag has side pieces. It's basically a giant rectangle, and we're going to stitch the lining down. Now I'm going to attach this long rectangular piece to the embroidered piece. So I'm starting 2 inches from the edge, not because the directions say to, but this rectangular piece is 2 inches shorter than this piece. So I assume this is the flap, and that's what we're going with. This is going to attach the main piece to the side piece. It does require a little bit of finagling and just lining everything up. So this just keeps going all the way down the entire bag. In case I didn't mention before, this is an Etsy pattern. You can buy it, and I will link it in the description below if you want to try it. The directions were very correct when they said it was for advanced seamstresses. Alright, we're winding down, so I'm binding that top edge. And then this, or both edges, and then both ends, both the sides, are going to get grommets in them. Snaps, buttons, a bunch of buttonholes. I gotta draw up the sides. I drew up one side. I have 5 buttons. We're going to do one, oops, one in the center, one a little bit from the edge, how far, so about 2 inches from the edge. Yeah, that's it. Just about exactly. We're going to do one halfway in between these two. And then now for the ends. So I cut a piece that's about half of the whole length of it. So I finally figured out what was wrong with my grommet maker. I was just using the wrong size setting for the grommets. So I went up a size for grommets and now they look great. I am a little bit concerned about things falling through since it's on an actual seam. But that is how that's supposed to look. I'm gonna finish buttons, do buttonholes, and we'll be done. Alright, there we are. They are done. So both of them are actually really big. I'm gonna be able to carry a lot of stuff. I probably could have just gotten away with just the backpack, given how small, 20th century stuff is, and not a lot of undergarments, and what is there is thinner and just generally takes up less space than the mid-19th century stuff. In addition to the fact that I only usually do one-day events for 20th century, so I don't have to carry, multiple things of underpinnings or multiple dresses for multiple occasions. It's usually just one little outfit. So this will really be more than enough for what I need, which is awesome. So I think most of the time I'll probably just use the backpack, but I have the other one there just in case. I'm very thrilled with how they turned out. They are beautiful. I mean, again, this is not something I really thought through before doing, and the fact that it looks this good and cohesive and overall, I'm just very, very pleased with this project. I'm looking forward to getting the toiletry bag done, but again, that's going to have to be a later date because this video needs to go out and I really have no use for it at this point anyway. I thought I'd go ahead and get it done while I was working on this, but since I don't need it, it can wait 6 months, it can wait a year even. But yes, I am very thrilled I got these done. I finally have something to carry around stuff in for the 20th century without doing something inaccurate. Because I have been carrying all my stuff in my 19th century carpet bag, which I guess is plausible, but not very realistic. So this very much helps that situation. I also do love that they added pockets. The only thing I would change if I were to make this pattern is to add pockets on the inside so I had more storage in, because they're so big. I'm concerned about things getting lost inside of each of the bags, just in the vast quantities of space that's in there. So I would prefer a little bit more, I would prefer a way to segregate all the items that are going to go into the bags, but that was not mentioned in the directions, and we are trying to copy the originals within reasonable believability. Again, this was not a, I'm going to go buy stuff for this project. This was, what do I have that is plausible that could be used for this project type of situation, which is how we end up with blue linen lined with pink cotton. But overall, I think it's beautiful. They really turned out well. Again, the only thing I'm really concerned about, other than things getting lost in the vast quantities of space, is on the round linen bag. Again, those ends that are just kind of tied in. That makes me nervous. I feel like I'm going to lose stuff in there. But who knows? Maybe that's what I actually need to be doing, and that's more than functional. I don't actually know. I guess time will tell. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here in the next video.